Hi, Andy Nelson. So I often get asked if certain words, phrases, logos, etc., just cannot be used as trademarks or cannot be protectable as trademarks. And the answer is there are quite a few things. But today I want to focus on just a couple. And let's begin with this. Let's recall that trademarks, what do they do? Trademarks help identify a single source of goods or services, and derivatively, help one source of goods or services be distinguished from another's goods or services. So essentially, trademarks function as a marketing shortcut. Consumers have to do less work to get what they want because they see or experience the brand imagery, the trademarks, and know what they're getting. They have to do less research to figure out exactly what they're buying. It's marked up. They see it. So what can't be used as a trademark? What can't identify a single source of goods or services? Well, an obvious answer is a word that is the product itself, the generic word or generic name for the product. So if I'm selling beer, I can adopt any number of distinctive trademarks that would connect my brand to a consumer, but I can't adopt the word beer and say that I'm using beer exclusively as my brand name for my product. And I don't know if I need to explain that further because it just sounds ridiculous, right? But if we're going to try to lay it out logically, it is generic. Since it generically refers to the product itself, it cannot identify a single source of the product, right? So generic words. If I use beer, on the other hand, as a brand name for auto tires, well, that's not use of the generic word to identify the product. That is an arbitrary use of an actual word, but for a different product. So that can function as a distinctive trademark in that instance, but not for the product it describes. So that's one instance where you can never ever have a trademark or never protect a word as a trademark for a particular product if it is the product itself. Now, two, somewhat related but different, is a purely descriptive word. Okay, purely descriptive words also do not function as trademarks. Now, these descriptive words may eventually function as trademarks if consumers begin to associate the words specifically with a single source of goods or services. So descriptive words, they're not generic, but what they do is they describe something about a product, some ingredient or a quality, or perhaps a target audience, or perhaps a place of origin. So a good example here is American Airlines. Okay, American Airlines. Airlines is the generic service. American describes it, and that may be a description, may refer to where the airline operates. It may refer to who the airline serves, that sort of thing, or its place of origin, something along those lines. But it is inherently a descriptive trademark. So when American Airlines is first used or was first used, you're talking about something where the owner, or the mark owner, if you will, is using something as a trademark, but it probably does not have trademark rights to begin with because the word is purely descriptive of the services itself. However, as descriptive words gain recognition by consumers over time, what we call secondary meaning, that is, their primary meaning is descriptive, but consumers attribute a secondary meaning, a trademark source identifying meaning to that descriptive word, then it takes on basically trademark characteristics and may be protectable as a trademark. So if it does that, it gains trademark rights. If it remains purely descriptive, American, Speedy, Quickie, geographic terms, American, Pacific, your local city or town or county, those sorts of things are descriptive and do not function or do not have trademark rights until they build up that secondary meaning. So anyway, long story short, certain words that cannot function as trademarks, generic words, never. Descriptive words, not initially, possibly later, but sometimes that doesn't even happen. So descriptive words, purely descriptive words, also do not function as trademarks and cannot be protected as trademarks unless they gain that secondary meaning. So anyway, that's it for today. In another video, I'll cover some of the other things that cannot be protected as trademarks. But for right now, we'll just leave it with these two related concepts, generic words and purely descriptive words, as not being protectable. If you have any questions about this video, please feel free to shoot me an email, and I look forward to talking soon. Bye-bye.